Hey, it's Eric here at Peachtree Classic Cars with a 1951 Chevrolet 3100 short bed truck. I am particularly impressed with this truck for its originality, and the patina on it is absolutely gorgeous. One of the things that's really impressive to me, all of the gauges work, which is extremely rare. And for the first time in Peachtree Classic Cars history, even the radio turns on. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, you can't tell. But anyways, you can see that it lights up, or I saw that it lit up. Let's see what it does now. Literally just lit up the other day. Alright, for the first time, not the first time in history, something didn't work when I decided to turn the video camera on. But literally had it in the garage the other day where it's really dark inside the garage. When I turned the radio on, when we were looking at it, the light actually came on, and I was like, holy smokes, I've never seen that happen before. It doesn't dial in or anything, but I thought that was great. I don't believe the wipers work. I think that's the only thing that doesn't work. Seems like it doesn't here. But let's take it for a drive. We're getting massive humidity here, so I'm trying to keep that lens clean. It's got the original 216. It's actually been rebuilt. It's got the rebuilt stamp on it. Okay, I lied. The speedometer is not working. Everything else seems to be working just fine. Very cool. This truck steers very nicely down the road. It's an easy driver. And I love these trucks just for their originality. This is one of those ones that the guys tease me when I get something like this in the shop, and I say, this is the one I want to keep. This is the one I want to keep, because there's just nothing as nostalgic as driving one of these trucks that's all original. Now, it's got the really old school tires on the back, so it gives a little, you know, kind of a vibration, I guess, when you drive it, just from the old tires. And I'll show those to you in a minute. But just kind of old school farm, like almost like tractor style tires. And honestly, for driving around, we've driven the truck around town and stuff like that, it's really not a big deal. But it does, you know, it does make things a little bit, you know, a little more shaky, if you will. But yeah, even the fuel gauge works, which is crazy. Battery gauge, oil pressure. Let's see if we can get the gas on that and make it go up. It always takes a second for those to respond. You can see all the lights work. Just a phenomenal running truck. It's got a great patina to it. This was actually kept at the Sugar Hill Airport. The guy who owned this before, he intentionally had, you know, this put on and had it kind of parked out at the airport, and ran parts around to the very small little airport here in Georgia. Tiny little airport, really. .216 Thriftmaster, little Rogers engine remanufacturing tag on there, and then you can just hear this thing just purrs like a kitten. And I don't even have it warmed up. I mean, that was a cold start. Pretty much a cold start there. I think even the horn works. That's awesome. I'm going to turn it off so we can hear a little better. Tell you a little more about the truck. Yeah, so tiny little airport here. You know, one of these ones with just a few hangars. Older guy, and in fact, they have a biplane over there, so they do the biplane rides. And yeah, I think he was kind of sad to sell it, but golly, this truck reminds me, they used to keep old vehicles at the Old Navy. You know, when you walked into the mall and saw the Old Navy, and they had, this looks just like an Old Navy truck, you know, where they piled the t-shirts in the back. And it's always was one of my favorite things to see before I even got into classic cars, even when I was younger, going shopping and walking into Old Navy to buy jeans and seeing a truck just like this. But one thing that we did not do, and if you're looking at this at the same time, I've got a 54 up for sale, and that's got a just gorgeous engine detail. I didn't want to mess with this because of the patina and originality, so I did not. I mean, just a good sanding and some paint, or even some clear coat under here. This is just kind of an original patina. I don't see any rust. I just didn't want to go after trying to make this look any nicer, because it just wouldn't fit for me. I felt like I popped the hood on this and it felt like it just went with the patina of the truck, so I wanted to leave it alone. So we didn't do like a, you know, magnanimous engine detail. The other thing too is it just runs so good, and we try and kind of say leave well enough alone. Sometimes you go after things that don't need to be gone after and you realize that was a mistake. We should have left it alone. This old truck runs great. So as we walk around it, the truck's got a little bit of rust on it. It's definitely a true patina. This wasn't just painted to look like this, although a little bit of color was added to it. Not too long ago, the blue was kind of added as a little bit of an overshot shoot, but it's got a fresh coat of satin on it just to protect it, and a couple of little spots as you walk around it, what I would call kind of normal, and nothing personally that I would even go after if I own this truck. So we're going to sit down and show you the bottom of the door here in the front on the passenger side. It's got a little rest hole there. The rest of the door look going down it. The weep holes look good, and that's a really cool thing. And then there, that's the cab corner. And as long as I'm here, I'm going to show you. Go ahead. I usually wait till the end. Here's your step side. Actually in pretty good shape. Two little tiny holes there. The original battery box is actually in pretty good shape. It's a little surface crusty, and that's a normal little bit of rust there, but I wouldn't even think about changing that. And then these are the original floor pans. And so if you go all the way to about where the transmission access is, somebody actually put some metal on the inside underneath the floor mat. So you'll see that on the inside. But really nice and solid. Again, this is a, you know, surface rust on the frame rails kind of a thing, but I don't see any rust on the frame to speak of, which I really like. Of course, there's some Georgia red clay in here. You'll see a few little spots waiting for the camera. There we go. A few little spots there. There's a little bit of rust. By no means is this a rust-free truck, but I don't think it's a rusty bucket, even though it's got a few little spots here and there. And I really think it adds to the character. Excuse me, I got a frog in my throat. So even these inner fender wells look pretty good. Get around, see a couple of little spots here and there. This would be the worst of it, if you want to call it that. Again, personally, I wouldn't fix that, but if it really bothers you, you can always do that and try to blend in. It's actually not that hard. This cab corner down here, putting the camera that low, makes it look pretty blown out. But you know, I'm sitting down here on the ground. I'm laying down. But look at this door. I mean, the weep holes and everything being rust free. Little spot of rust right there. And then step sides overall are in really good solid condition. It's got a newer muffler. Floor pans. Let me get up underneath there and see. So yeah, so there's a spot on the floor pan there, and then above it some newer steel that's been put in, probably just some flashing. It's pretty common. This is really one of those trucks that, for the most part, when I talk to guys that are like me, that appreciate this patina, nobody's thinking about doing anything to this truck but driving it. You know, there's nothing else to do to the truck. Enjoy it like it is. It took, you know, it's a 1951. I mean, it took whatever 75 years to make it look like this, so why go back and fix it? So one thing I would do if it was me, and you could see all the way around, that's pretty common, it's got some rust. If it was me, I'd probably put a wood bed back into it. I think this is just a piece of plywood in here with some bed coating on it, and it looks fine, but eventually I might consider putting some wood. I love, this is actually fairly new slats that have been put on just to add a little accent, and I actually really like that. They slide right off. All you gotta do is pick them up and slide them off if you don't like them. Interior, all original, like I said. One of the things that made me just say, when I picked up the truck and the guy said, what do you think, do you want to buy it? When I turned the switch on for the radio, the light came on, and I said sold. That's awesome. You know, in fact, I believe also the heater works. You hear that? A little old school heat button there. Got a great looking floor mat. Probably, you know, repop. That's probably not the original floor mat. If we pull it up, you can see I told you there's some flashing under here. There's the access for the master cylinder. Excuse me. The seat's in pretty good shape overall, but it does have a couple of little rips there. There's a rip there. There's a tiny little rip there. And that might be something I would consider doing, is putting a seat cover back on it. It's got the old headliner in it. It's original, little tear there and some, you know, warping from humidity. But I love, love, love this dash. And just love the interior of this truck. Doors open and close. Glass is in original, what I would call good original condition, at least on this side. Look at how easy this rolls up. And then on this side, you've got, of course, the busted glass there. We can adjust the camera to see it. But the windows roll up and down nice and easy. A little bit of old windshield wiper there. And that's another thing. I didn't see the wipers working, but it costs about $165, I think, for the electric wiper kit for these trucks to do a rebuild. And then you have electric wipers instead of depending on them to run off the original system, which is all vacuum and pretty unreliable. So anyways, well, there you have it. 1951 Chevy truck. This is this would make a great shop truck. Tons of guys, well, especially in my area, I'd love to sell it local to keep it around, because there's so many pilots. We're a Delta community here in Fayetteville and Peachtree City, but I'd love to see it go somewhere. I think somebody'd really enjoy having this thing, and it wouldn't be hard if you wanted to change the name on the side, or you know, you can hit it with reducer and take all that off. But man, it really adds a lot of character with the biplane rides, and somebody did a real fun job here painting and pinstriping the truck just to give it that character. So give us a call here, PeachtreeClassicCars.com. Look forward to hearing from you.